Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. We are live here tonight for the MusicFest Grand Prix 3. And tonight should be an interesting one as the field has grown exponentially over the 3 years that we've done this. We will have the first ever 45 car field here tonight in the MusicFest Grand Prix. And a lot of people had to make it through the alphabet soup last night to make it here tonight. We do have a points battle still on the line, and these two drivers start in front row. They are in the points battle, and you don't have to look very far back to find the next one, Brian DeBlank. Brian DeBlank sits 50 points back. Dalton Scott sits 52 points back with Al Bunch, your leader. So it's Dalton Scott and Al Bunch, the front row, followed by the 03 there of Bailey Parker and Brian DeBlank. Next row, you've got Cassie Perkins and Bradley Ream still in the mix for the title. He's going to need some luck here tonight. Jun Sanu and Astro Atlas. Reese Landry made it through the alphabet soup last night and had a good qualifying shakeup here, starting alongside your fan vote winner Wyatt Wilkinson in the number 17 Honda Accord for LFG Motorsports. Next in line, we have Lynn Farrell and Tom Cording. Bella Fawn and Braden Varga. Varga is alive for the Rookie of the Year battle, and he could still, with some luck here, try to connect a championship here, too. So, Jimmy Logano came through the qualifiers last night. Ewan Wood Army's been locked in on Charter. Chaz Chadwick and Kellen Relic. Luis Rodriguez and Rich Roy, Tristan Reams and Tayden Berggren, Chase Kovacic and Asiel Escobar. Then you've got Jacob Shangle and Ryan White, Tyler Shangle and Andre Stefan, Chris Harvey and Braden Hunt, Monty Shangle and Tasha Wright, Lucas Holmes in the Wiggles car, alongside Kara Shangle in the Rainbow Kitten Surprise entry. Adam Levine alongside Nate Newman, Trevor Walker with the Louis Trost, your MusicFest Grand Prix winner for the first year when it was last known as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame event. And then we got Tyler Landa, John Hagan, Liz Shangle making her return after injury alongside Guido Piano. James Fireball Robert and Tyler Aspinall with Matthew Fastnot rounding out the field here tonight. Alrighty, so it's for all the marbles here tonight. 400 miles is the distance, 301 laps total. We had a couple nights there on Twitch to get some extra presence in the different streaming services. And here we are tonight, back to YouTube. And we do have James joining us here in the booth tonight.
Howdy, y'all. Sorry I'm late, Jakey.
No worries. You didn't miss a thing. We're right off and rolling here from lap 1.
All right, cool.
And, yeah, so it's a 45-car field. 400 miles is the distance. And your Cording Brother Motorsports team is going to be stout here tonight, I imagine.
Absolutely. I mean, I've lost track of how many. I think, do we have 5 or 6 entries? Thanks to the soup.
Well, you had 6, but none of them made it. So it's only the 4 charter drivers.
That's what I wasn't sure. Wait, I thought, didn't Luis Rodriguez make it?
Lewis is in the 19 for Toyota.
Oh, is it?
He's
I
kind
thought he
of
was in a Chevy.
he's
over
on lease for kind of an odd race here because that would have been Willow Blake in the 19 for this one, and but yeah, but he is in the KBM stables, so honest mistake there. Yeah, we're off and rolling here. 3 laps in already, and they're racing all over the track. There's battles left and right. You know, turn around, look, there's another battle brewing. The front of the field is kind of stabled out here a little bit. Last in line of your top 10, that is Jimmy Logano, looking to try and secure a charter for next year. And that is a new kind of concept that we put together at the end of this year, James, is the charter hunters. And so drivers on the outside of the top 32 in points, that it kind of gives us an extra angle during these broadcasts to focus on. Because Jimmy Logano, for example, sits about 35th in the points right now. But if he could finish this season in the top 32, he will inherit a charter for next year. And it's going to be interesting to see which drivers get those charters. I know there's going to be some charters up for sale next year. And for KBM, I think that might be important for you guys to kind of do recon on.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always trying to expand, or at least make sure we're making it so all of our cars are able to make the field every week.
And I think the big topic will be the departure of Braden Varga. So the way it worked, we were actually going to...
Especially if he turns out to be the champion this year.
Right, yeah. No, and it's still, there's the outside chance if Dalton Scott, Al Bunch both have some troubles here tonight, Braden Varga could make up some points and get back in the mix. And but yeah, the charter that's going to be going up for sale next year will be this 15 car of Dalton Scott. And so charter sales are basically, just a placeholder. It's not like you're buying the Jaguar team that he drove. You're not buying the rights to the number 15. You're simply buying the rights to be locked into the main event for every race in a season. And with Braden Varga's departure, that's kind of put KBM in a bit of a bind, hasn't it, James?
Yeah, especially with, like I said, the chance of it looking like he's potentially going to end up might have a chance to be the champion depending on how things end up tonight. If Al Bunch has a bad night and Braden Varga goes on and wins this race, that blows this championship for him wide open.
I know you've got a little bit of insider info with KBM. Do you happen to know if the things will change a little bit if Braden Varga were to win the championship?
It's a possibility. We might try to have talks there. But it's up in the air right now. It'll just depend on how things go, and we'll see how things unfold there.
I know that Tasha's got her team put together. Do you think there could be a potential landing spot if Tasha decided to bring her team up to Cup next year?
It might maybe be a potential landing spot for maybe a holdout just to see if things continue the way they were.
Well, we'll definitely see. The silly season is going to be in full swing here just another 2 weeks from here. And it's going to be exciting to see how all of it plays out. I know that, for Braden Varga, it's like you can say it's amicable, but for KBM in their front office, there was probably at least some reasons for the termination. So, and we don't have to go into details on it, but yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see for sure. And for Braden Varga, the fact of the matter is he is going to be able to hang on to his charter. And so that charter will follow him to whichever team decides to pick him up next year. And so KBM, I'm assuming, would be on the front of the auction block for this number 15, wouldn't they?
Absolutely, yeah. If we decide to part ways with Braden Varga at season's end, we would definitely be eyeing that charter there for sure.
And I do know for a fact another Charger that will be up on the auction block, and this is for everyone's knowledge, obviously. Not only is the 15 going to be up for auction, but as we skim through the field here, the other car that will be on that auction block. Wow, it is deep in the field trying to find him. Could you imagine? Almost third from last. The number 56 there of Andre Stefan. His number 56 ride will be up for auction beginning of the off season. So this is not ideal to see all these cars at the back. You know, we have 45 cars on field, and there's actually someone running in 45th right now, which is just crazy. Struggles for Nate Newman off of the start of this one. 15 laps in, and he's running dead last right behind John Hagan, Kara Shangle, and Andre Stefan. Your fan vote winner in the Allison Chains, number 17, that's Wyatt Wilkinson. He ended up winning the inaugural ARCA championship here in the Sigma ARCA series and had a rough year this year and bridged a cup. He got voted in, which, as it seems, maybe he's getting the car figured out right now, struggling to get the speed for the 17 team there. Tyler Landa, Tyler Aspinall. Man, are you amazed about that one, James? Look at, that's the guy that was running shotgun on the field all night last night, and he's deep in the field.
Yeah, I mean, he was stout last night making his way through the soup, so I'm not surprised to see him making his way towards the front early in this one.
I'm sure their drivers are kind of hiding what they've got. They're trying to get a feel for the track. It's a full-length race here tonight, so it's no sprint. It's no quick qualifier. This is going to be, you know, battle of maybe even attrition, but strategy will be very key here tonight. Braden Varga running mid-pack right now in 25th, right behind Tom Cording and Tasha Wright. Wow. KBM 23rd, 24th, 25th. Kind of a shocking start there for the team, but I'm sure they've got a good game plan.
Yeah, I mean, all of our cars have been performing pretty well all week here. So, I mean, it's not too bad to see us come off of qualifying a little rough.
Well, in your practice session earlier in the week on Tuesday, you were sitting, I think it was 2, 3, 4, and 5, or something like that. It was like 1, 2, 4, 5.
I believe it was 2, 3, 4, and then ninth.
Yep.
With Tom.
Yep, that's right. Still a great practice session for the team. And that's the thing, you know, with the practice session, you might have it trimmed out for a qualifying set, or you might even have it, that might have been their race setup too, you never know. But once you get into the race, everything changes. Everything kind of slows down a little bit. And so it's all about the you know, minute changes here and there throughout the night to make the car better and to climb the ladder to the top.
Absolutely. It's like you said. It's we're not in a sprint race anymore. We're not in a short little 50-lap qualifier. This is the full Monty. This is the full event. So you've got some time, but you've also kind of got to get going because it's a big field. There's 46 cars here tonight instead of the usual, I think, 40?
42, yep. Well, and we've been trying to grow the Sigma Cup Series field little by little each race throughout 2025 here. And my goal has been to try and add pit stalls to as many tracks as I can. Obviously, I had to add within the realms of, you know, the confines of the actual sandbox racetrack in NR2003. And I've been able to do it on a couple tracks so far. And so I guess my first big plan is to try and make all of our Crown Jewel events be able to hold field enough for 45 cars, which I feel is reasonable.
Yeah, I'd say that's fairly reasonable, honestly, yeah.
And the fact that I figured out how to edit the pit stalls it's not too tough, not too tough with you when you've got all the tools at your disposal to do it. It's just whether or not the track is capable of it. But yeah, no, like we saw in the Alphabet Soup last night, track position was huge. There were a few cars making passes last night. I won't discredit that. But mostly, if you were up front, you were kind of checking away with it. You needed a little bit of pit strategy to help kind of settle things out. And so, like James was saying, it's there isn't any urgency, but if you're starting the race back in 35th, 40th, or something like that, you might want to start picking it up just a little bit, because you could be at risk of going a lap down on this first run of the night. Well, and there we have our top two. Dalton leads the way. Al Bunch got back up to second here. This could be a battle of two juggernauts that have been hard to beat all year long. Dalton Scott is your 2010 champion, running his farewell tour here in 2025. 15th anniversary of the Sigma Cup Series, and still we've never had a repeat champion here in the Sigma Cup Series yet. So Dalton Scott with an opportunity to do something that no one else has done, but at the same time he's having to defend against the guy that has done it last year. So it's a mixed bag as to which one of these two could actually get the job done here at the end of the year. I must say I'm impressed here with the 36 of Cassie Perkins. She's having a great start to the night. Another Alphabet Soup runner between the 36 there. You've also got the 75, the 40. Those three had to make it through the run last night to get here. Yeah, that 03, that is Bailey Parker making his Cup Series debut. Cassie Perkins also making her Cup Series debut. And Reese Landry with his Cup Series debut. Now it's getting interesting here at the front. Al Bunch, Dalton Scott tied together there. Their Jaguar power has been overbearing for the most part this year, keeping other people from victory lane. And with Jaguar on their way out, you know, maybe this might be the last time we see a Jaguar go to victory lane, James.
Yeah, I mean, Jaguars have been really, really dominant for the last couple years, so it's not a surprise to see them going out the same way they've been for a while.
Well, you almost got to wonder, you know, tonight might be some of these drivers feel that it's last chance for them to get a win this year. When we have the last two races are Talladega, which is pretty much who knows what's going to happen. You'll probably get a big one at Talladega. You might have championship implications with the drivers that we see up front here tonight who are fighting for it, getting a wreck at Talladega. And then they close out the season in Indianapolis, which is kind of, you know, it's a driver's track. It's not a very standard racetrack where the skill sets get challenged a little harder. And so, yeah, you know, some of these drivers here tonight, the bread and butter, cookie cutter, you know, racetracks such as this, it might be some of them had it marked on their calendars the last chance to get a win this season. We're going to be returning to Indianapolis after a very wild statistic had started to develop. So we only run Indianapolis once a year, and it's the season finale every single year. Well, 2023 and 2024 were both won by Atlee Weiss. Well, Atlee Weiss hung up the hat in 2024 after winning the race at Indy, called it a career. He ain't going to be in the field in 2 weeks' time to defend that statistic. So we're going to see someone, at least someone new that hasn't won in the last 2 years, because there's, you know, obviously drivers that have won there before that are still racing. And whenever you go to Indianapolis, you know, there's just that, you know, history. The track, you can almost feel it when you're there. The presence, the history, the moments in time. Nothing gets lost. It's all, you know, physically, spiritually there at Indianapolis. Yeah, no, I think Chaz Chadwick had a good point there. The strategy is going to be huge tonight. Passing is at a premium. I'm kind of impressed, though, that they haven't caught lap traffic quite yet.
Yeah, usually it looked like last night we were on track early in the, like, midway through some of the, like, B mains to putting cars a lap down.
What happened here? So, Ewan What Army was running 23rd. Oh, Tyler Shangle blows it up. Blown engine. Ewan What Army's trying to get around the 77. Wow. Wow. What in the world? Avoidance. That in NR2003, you don't see avoidance.
That's a crazy level of avoidance for NR2003.
Okay, that is a moment that you only see in the MusicFest Grand Prix right there. Tough break for Ewan What Army. 4 wide as they get around the 77. And I feel for Chaz Chadwick makes the comment, and then one of their drivers in kind of right in line with that get penalized, unfortunately, in the weirdest, wildest, wackiest of ways. Sigma officials didn't deem enough substance. There ain't not enough reason to throw a caution. There's not oil down, spinning the cars out, so we keep green. But, I mean, if that happens again and it seems like there's substantial liquid fluids down on the track, we would have thrown a caution. Laps are
I mean, he was towards the back of the pack, so we did have some time to get a assessment from scouts, and seems like a driver's reported back it was okay too. So.
Well, it's funny. Apparently, the spotter stand to the commentator stand is snoozing because we usually get, we kind of get a little nod or a little poke on the shoulder whenever something happens, but we didn't get a single thing this time, so we missed it when it happened live there, but we'll try to keep our eyes peeled for anything else to happen here tonight. The big takeaway from this, however, is Tyler Schengel will be credited with 45th place here tonight. Very, very tough way. When the field gets bigger, going home hits harder if you fail to finish the race. So Dalton Scott has led every lap so far, but Al Bunch keeping it close. And then Cassie Perkins, she's got her way up to third, making a move around the 03 of Bailey Parker. No cautions yet tonight. Even though this is kind of settling into a long green flag run, sometimes that could put you in the danger zone. The longer you run, then other people start short pitting. And then your hand's forced. You either have to pit with them or stay out and risk missing an opportunity. How crazy is that we're going to be running Talladega right around Halloween?
I mean, we used to.
Yeah, real
Back
life.
in the day, we used to. In real life, we used to. We used to go to Talladega. I feel like those were always the best Talladega races.
I kind of miss it.
You'd get Halloween-themed paint schemes and, I don't know. It always felt so cool around Halloween time.
Well, we are getting a couple of those Halloween-inspired paint schemes in the Xfinity Series tomorrow. I saw, I think, Anthony Alfredo's got a creepy pasta. Well, not creepy pasta. It's a Halloween pasta paint scheme. Creepy pasta, that's funny.
That's what he was going for.
Yeah.
Credit to him. That's pretty funny. I imagine that's what the team was somebody on the team was going for. That's pretty funny.
But it's even I've always enjoyed seeing all the paint schemes when they do the Snowball Derby.
Yeah.
And in a way, kind of like tonight with the MusicFest Grand Prix, that kind of fits the same mold. We're doing it right around Halloween each year, so... And I think we made that, comparison earlier in the week here. That's they, all the cars are dressed up for Halloween because no one's in their normal paint scheme. Even though there's not much passing going on, I feel like this could be, everything about this feels like a game of poker. You don't want to show your hand. You want to hold it close to your chest, and if you hit it big, you're gonna hit it extra big here tonight. The stakes couldn't be any higher as 45 cars. The points are quadrupled this week, not just 4 multiplier, but not 2 multiplier, but 4 multiplier on the points tally here tonight. And so that means even with Dalton Scott leading right here, he would put up probably about 40 points to Al Bunch. And it would put him within 12 points with 2 races to go if everything was finished and complete right here, right now. And then don't forget, we do give away bonus points for led most laps. So Dalton Scott's already led 53 of the first 300 laps. If he can lead half the race here, that would lock up led most laps and get that bonus set of points for him. Oh, whoa, whoa. 36 is looking racy. Yeah, I'm starting to see the trend carry over from last night, and that was the lack of cautions. And man, that's going to be hard on these drivers. The longer the green flag runs go, the more tired they're going to get. So we'll see how long this first green flag run goes. Usually, if you make the distance longer, it creates many more opportunities for a caution to unfold. And let us look back at the prior years of the MusicFest Grand Prix and see how many cautions fell to those nights that we raced. Last year we didn't have any cautions because we're at a road course, I believe. Might have had one.
Yeah, last year we were at the at your track.
Or the Australian track that I'd found.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So we actually threw 3 cautions in that race. And that's what it was. Tosh, I think, had a shot at winning it because she played the fuel mileage game. And she was out front leading with about 20 laps to go. I'm kind of retracing my steps to this race. Tasha had a shot to win it. And how crazy is that? A year later from the MusicFest Grand Prix, she actually got her first career win at Gateway. So, but yeah, that was the thing. She was in a position where she could have almost won it, but Al Bunch was on a whole nother level that night, leading the most laps, and he blew right back by her to take the win before she even got a chance to enjoy the front field there. So 3 cautions. We actually had to throw caution. We had 1 car flip over. I remember that. We've actually had a flipper in both of the MusicFest Grand Prix. So maybe an omen, a bad omen that is, or a storm is brewing in the background, but we never know. You could see another one here tonight too. They should be able to go to about lap 65 before they got a pit. And so, yeah, so we'll see strategies start to unfold right around lap 65 to 70. So we go back to the 2023 season, and we go to the Cleveland Airport, where Louis Trost came out victorious that year. We had 2 cautions in that race. So notoriously been very low on caution count for this event each year. Yeah, first round of pit stops is definitely going to shake things up here. I don't know if Dalton's going to be able to maintain his lead. We do have some lap traffic in the picture. Well, you put yourself in the driver's shoe. Which would you rather, James? Would you rather take the undercut, come in first, or the overcut, and why?
If I'm leading, I am gonna go for it because, or I'm not gonna go for it because I want to wait and see. I want to outlast them. I want to hope for that caution to come out and get away with pitting for free. If I'm in the middle of the pack, I think I'd maybe go for it just to see if maybe it gets the leaders to budge once everybody starts rolling with pit stops. But if I'm at the back, I definitely consider it, because what have you really got to lose? You're gonna go a lap down here soon anyways, so you might as well give something a try, you know?
Well, in your perspective, what would the front be? Anywhere in the top 5 or just the
I'd say
lead?
probably I'd probably say the top like 10, 15 cars ish.
Okay, so you would
Just
definitely
depends.
go,
Just really all depends on how close you are to the front of the pack.
right, yeah,
To
because
like Al Bunch and Dalton Scott here.
you could be 10th on field, but going a lap down, you know. So yeah, you definitely would take the overcut if you're in the top 10 or close to the leader, that is.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, test the strategy waters outside the top 10 maybe. Try to undercut and force the hand of the leaders to try and make a mistake.
But that also puts the ball in your court because you can't make a mistake. If you make a mistake, they're going to get a chance to pit for free.
Right. Well, and once you pit, you kind of get put back in the hornet's nest. So it's always a catch-20. No matter what you do, there's always going to be ups and there's always going to be downs. Wow. Well, Mr. Scott here is going to take the undercut, doing it quite contrary to how James would as a race car driver. We'll see if this pays off. I'm definitely with James on this. I think
Looks like we got a mixed strategy here. Some people coming from the middle of the pack too.
I'm thinking you'd probably want to stay out a little bit longer than coming in first and foremost like that. Yeah, that's about half the field, honestly. Then see, like Tasha, who is running in 25th, I think this is a perfect scenario for her. Well, the rest of the field doesn't like to see it, but Al Bunch is getting some laps led here tonight. He comes in roughly a lap later. Some of these drivers may be putting themselves in a little bit of the danger zone because a caution could come out now and really mess things up. We'll keep our eyes here on Dalton Scott, as it's probably going to roll around to him being in the lead again. But he's going to have, his tires are going to have about 2 laps of wear on them, whereas Al Bunch is going to have about 2 laps fresher tires. And so it's going to be about a 4-stop race if we go to 65 lap pairing each time. It would put us at lap 260, so about a 40 lap run for the likes there of Dalton Scott. Now, I don't think there's anyone that's pushing it to lap 70 here. Well, the 36, that is Cassie Perkins. She just now heads down pit road. So let's look and see what a 70 lap stretch would look like. That'd put her to lap 280.
I was just going to say, by my calculations from this point, if you've pitted between like 65, I'd say like 65 to 67, this is probably going to be a 4-stop race. But your chances of having it be a 3-stop race are definitely higher if you waited this long. So now the ball's kind of in your court just to run your race and hope it comes to you.
And some of these drivers may be hoping for at least a few breaks in the action, a caution here, a caution there. Al Bunch under attack here for position. That should be for 5th, maybe 4th. Oh, and we got our first caution.
That is definitely not what Dalton Scott wanted to see right now.
No, he was starting to drive away with it. Whoa, that.
And it's the 29.
One of our defending Music Fest winners here, 29 of Louis Trost. Looks like he got crumpled up a little bit. So he's racing with the 51. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. The 09 was stalled there. With nowhere to go, the 29 just ran into Matthew Fastnot. Did he run out of fuel? It seems like he ran out of fuel, maybe.
Might have stretched it just a tad bit too far there.
Yep, and there's our first caution of the night involving the 09 and 29.
We do see that happen from time to time with NR. If they get stuck on the outside or something, they'll just keep on rolling.
And I think everyone's probably going to be able to recover from that and continue on. And Dalton Scott better be careful not to get in a wreck coming to the caution flag here. Okay, so yeah, now they're gonna play the strategy game here and pit on lap 74 under the caution. This makes for an interesting strategy because now they can push it a little further. They're going to be able to push it to about lap 270, which would mean a 30-lap charge to the finish after making 4 stops. Well, look at that. You have some folks that decided to stay out, though. So Dalton relinquishes the lead. And in his first career start, Bailey Parker is leading in the MusicFest Grand Prix.
I hate to be that person, but how long with the likes of Al Bunch behind him?
Yeah, not for long. Yeah, so the restart, double file restarts here, and Al Bunch will be restarting on the outside of the 03. Do a quick through the field as we're under caution here. Bailey Parker, Al Bunch, Reese Landry. Heck, why don't we just fire up the drone cam and give us the side views like we've been doing all week? So, on the 03, a missed opportunity to not have the 50, but it's obviously the 50 belongs to another team, so 50 Cent on the number 03 car there. Al Bunch featuring the band of Snot, same genre as Limp Bizkit roughly, so kind of going from one to the other in that same genre of music. Al Bunch with Limp Bizkit to Snot this year. Reese Landry with the Stanfields, their uncle's band, featured on the number 75. Monty Shangle with the Hotel California Eagles-based paint scheme. Asiel Escobar in the 07 Blondie ride. Came through the alphabet soup, and here he sits in the top 5. Luis Rodriguez also had to come through the qualifiers, running in 6th. Tom Cording bouncing back here with some of the strategy working in his favor. Ryan White moving back to the front where we knew he could get. And Tyler Aspinall, Wyatt Wilkinson, your top 10. Dalton Scott falls back to 11th on a pit stop there. Chase Kovacic, Bella Fawn, Jacob Shangle, Cassie Perkins.
Getting doubled up here, it looks like.
We'll try to get everyone's car featured at some point here tonight with the drone cam. But yeah, I think you probably called it here, dude. It's not going to be very long that we see that 03 with the lead, because Al Bunch is probably going to drive away with it here. No, we got a blown engine in the background. That is the 71 of Rich Roy.
Oh, no.
So attrition striking here tonight. Wow, the 03 is hanging with Al Bunch here on the inside. Al Bunch not driving away with this one. The 03 keeping him honest. We stay green, even though the car was blown up in the background there. Al Bunch settles into second, and leading in his first career start, Bailey Parker at the front of the field.
You love to see it, especially fighting back against someone as strong as Al Bunch is.
Dude, that would be a statement race for any driver to go out there and put the lashes to Al Bunch's team. I mean, that's no small feat. And it seems like Al Bunch doesn't really have the car on the restarts here. It takes it a little while for that car to get up to speed. He did the exact same thing when the race started, when we had the green flag drop on lap 1 here tonight. His car just didn't seem to get going. And so, yet again, car did not want to get going. He didn't drop to third this time, luckily, but looks like the car is starting to come back around to him. And then you got Asiel Escobar making their debut as well. So a lot of rookie presence here at the front of the field. I think this just goes to show you how special this event is, that even a complete unknown could hop into the field and run with the big dogs. Another very minor side note here is the fact that that charter battle with quadruple points here tonight, it wouldn't be impossible for someone that's deep in the running to get a charter here tonight rolling into the last 2 races based on their qualifying. Whoa, Al Bunch blows by the 03 there. Not going to work out for any of the rookies or the drivers making their series debut here tonight, because they're going to need a lot more points than quadruple points to get in the charter mix. But holy cow, folks, look at this. The 07 is trying to put it to Al Bunch right now. Asiel was right there, gave kind of a light tap. It's like, hey, I'm here. And when you've got a race this big on the line, these drivers kind of put a little bit of etiquette out the door. It's like, you know what? I ain't going to hold back because you're a defending champion. I'm here to win the race and prove why I belong in the Sigma Series. That 07, look out. Because Asiel looks to be on one right now. And, dude, that would be one of those Game 7 bracket buster Cinderella moments if we had one here, and it would very likely happen tonight if we could get it. In all honesty, the first year that we ran this race, when Louis Trost took it, that was probably the biggest surprise win that we had seen since the YouTube years of running this Sigma series. Last year was kind of more expected with Al Bunch dominating. I mean, there was no surprise to be had there. But I'm getting the feeling like tonight we might be in for one. A good surprise. Hell, Reese Landry's still in the top 5. Monty Shangle's running 5th right there. Dalton Scott trying to close that gap again. And let's take a quick side-by-side glance at the laps led here tonight. So as you can see, 9 laps led so far by Al Bunch, 7 laps led by Bailey Parker, but Dalton Scott has led a grand total of 68, and he's made 2 pit stops on the night, whereas the 5 cars ahead of him have only made 1. So only 1 caution here tonight. Yet, we might have more, never know. We're approaching the 1/3 mark here. Yeah, we've been throwing that idea around a little bit, and I think it's a good idea, James, to, wouldn't you say, if you're looking at that comment there?
I don't have the chat pulled up.
Shoot.
What is the comment?
I'll clue you in, I didn't
Sorry.
know.
Nope, you're good.
To be locked in for next year's MusicFest Grand Prix if you win it this year.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I actually love that idea.
Because, I mean,
I feel like it's a well-deserved type of thing. Like,
you're going to have your oddball drivers in the field each year here, and the odds of them winning are obviously 1 in 45 tonight. And, 1 in 45 odds are still better than 0. So, but someone like a Osiel Escobar or a Reese Landry there that don't even start full-time here in the Cup Series yet, to give them that lock would definitely go a long way. Al Bunch starting to grow the gap a little bit for now. Tom Cording on the move, getting up to 5th, getting around Monty Shangle for that position. Now he's having to work for it, though. Monty not letting him take it easily. Well, after 95 laps have been complete here tonight, I think we've got 2 retirements now. Mark III, I guess the 09 is credited as out with an accident. We saw what we thought was maybe out of gas, but perhaps even more terminal than simply running out of gas. Tyler Shangle in the 77, a clutch failure. his win streak in jeopardy, as he's had a win every year since 2018 right now on the line. Kind of that Kyle Busch statistic, and he's only got two more opportunities after tonight to try and get back to victory lane and keep the win streak alive, or else he might lose it just like Kyle Busch did. The 09 of Matthew Fastnot, he is on the bubble to maintain his charter for next year. So a 44th place finish here tonight is going to be very degrading, and hopefully he can bounce back at Talladega and Indianapolis to try and keep that charter in his name. And then the 71 of Rich Roy, who we saw blown up on the restart, this last restart. Twice now we had a car drop out of the race and not bring a caution. But it does seem like Nashville is very, very demanding on these cars. We've seen a lot of broke engines, a lot of mechanical failures, even back to when we had practice and qualifying a couple nights ago. Well, Al Bunch is trying to match what Dalton did in the first stint by leading as many laps as he can here. It takes about 70 laps for them to catch lap traffic, though, so a full pit run is pretty much the point in time where you start catching the lap traffic. And I think that actually speaks volumes over the strength of field here tonight.
Well, yeah, I think that makes it interesting too, that every time they start to catch up to the back of the pack, it's pit time.
Yeah.
So it just all resets again.
No, and yeah, it does. It speaks volumes to the strength of field because, a lot of the ARCA truck races that we have, usually people go laps down in 15 to 20 laps at a track like this. But the fact that they're not going a lap down until about 70 laps into the run just goes to show you that their slow time is very comparable to the fast time of the leader. Let's put this into perspective here. The lap time for Al Bunch last circuit around was a 29.6. Currently, the last car on the lead lap turned a 29.9. So he's only losing about 0.3 a second each lap. And then ahead of him, the 29.7 of Guido Piano. He's almost running a lap as quickly as Al Bunch. It is 29.6. So yeah, no, that definitely puts it in perspective there. Man, tough night for Bradley Ream so far, running 30th right there alongside Lucas Holmes in the Wiggles car. You got Jacob Schengle in the Folie à Deux Fallout Boy Genesis number 64. All my rowdy friends, Hank Williams Jr., Taden Berggren, and Chaz Chadwick with the Birthday Massacre number 18. Actually, LFG Motorsports right there, nose to tail, with the Polyphia Ewan Wood Army ride. Chase Kovacic, Jun Sanu, Lynn Farrell. Braden Varga, he's mid-pack still, but making some moves, trying to get up forward through the field. I'm impressed with Wyatt Wilkinson. We saw him running 40th at one point here tonight. He's up to 18th. Got Tasha in the top 20. Adam Levine in the top 15. Astro Atlas with a good run as well.
Personally, I'm really impressed with Ryan White for being up in the front half of the field, for having to start shotgun on it.
Yeah, no, Ryan White, I think has more track time, obviously has more track time than everyone else does this week. He only lost 50 laps out of the alphabet soup, so he had 350 miles under his belt before the 400-mile event here tonight. Yeah, so far only one caution, and I think we'll probably see more cautions as the pit stops happen. That kind of opened up the door for the first caution to happen. Osiel making up some more ground on Al Bunch again. Reese Landry staying very close to the front as well. Your top three kind of breaking away from the rest of the field. So I'm partially wondering if the success here tonight has anything to do with the number font.
Hey, I mean, some things, it's racing, man. You never know.
Well, how many races has the 07 won? The Spire, specifically the Spire 07 this year between trucks and maybe Xfinity. I don't know if they've run the Xfinity, but the trucks for sure they've had that 07.
Oh yeah.
And it's been to victory lane.
Sure.
I think between Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, to name two of them. And so Osiel Escobar harnessing the Spire power out of that 07. Ooh, 75 gave a little bit of a bump there. Al Bunch starting to stretch it out a little more. So here's what's very interesting here is when Dalton decided to pit during that caution. That means he's got about 15 laps that he can go longer than Al Bunch, who has only pit once here tonight. We're going to start seeing those windows open up again around lap 125 to 130. And that's when you're going to see drivers like Al Bunch Osceola Escobar, Reese Landry, they're going to have to make their second pit stop of the night. But Dalton Scott's going to be able to stay out there for about 15 more laps. And now Dalton Scott getting up another spot there in the 5th. We're making record time here tonight. This race already a third and then some through it. We're
fastly approaching our second set of pit stops here soon too.
probably only going to be about 2.5 hour length race here tonight, so we're going to knock it out of the park. Ooh, Dalton had to let way off there. The 50 had the preferred line, and the 15 couldn't make a move. I was brainstorming today. I thought about it. It'd be great for this to be the one race that we make a t-shirt for. And, you know, like your local short tracks, how they have the shirts that have all the winners on them? You've seen them, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think that would be an amazing idea here for MusicFest Grand Prix. Have, you know, a MusicFest caricature kind of race car on there. And then on the back of the shirt, have all the names of the drivers that have won it each year.
That would actually be really cool.
And then if it, you know, if it actually does well, maybe looking at some of the other marquee crown jewel events. I feel like the 777 annual's got enough history to it that it should have its own, you know, kind of shirt, and maybe we'll avoid like the Southern 500 and the Daytona 500 just to not get confused with the real life. But I would be looking more so at our unique events that only Sigma hosts.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just 3 races left in the season this year. It's been a long, strenuous season for all these drivers out there. And obviously, Al Bunch leads the points right now, and he's not doing anyone any favors to try and let them get back into the mix, because
well, I mean, come on. That's not true. He's doing himself a favor by trying to lock up the championship.
yeah. Well, but the other people might not look at it that way. And I think pit stops are going to be dropping here pretty soon. Tom Cording hanging in there. Yeah, that first caution really kind of shook things up. We saw the strategies start to unfold differently depending on the drivers that decided to change it up. That you might look back at this race at that point in time as one of the pivotal moments here tonight. very close. The battle up front couldn't get any tighter. The ebb and flow. The 07 catches the 81. Gets right up there on his bumper, then loses the traction, loses the momentum.
Well, I feel like that's I feel like that makes it harder to decide when to pit as well. When you've got people breathing down your neck, when you're used to being able to just drive away from them.
Yeah, no, the draft seems to be a big factor here, especially with your leaders trying to, close the gap. Heck, I see the 50 closing in on the picture here too. I wonder if he's had 2 pit stops here tonight. If that's... no. So Tom Cording is going to pit with Al Bunch and the rest of the leaders here. Dalton Scott will stay out. Cassie Perkins will stay out. They're going to gain about 12 laps of green flag action over those that are going to be pitting. Look at that. The 07 kind of cuts out a line there. I'm starting to wonder if the tires are getting away from your leaders. So with caution laps factored in, they should be pitting anywhere, anytime now. These were the drivers that were able to stretch it to about, 65 laps on their first run. Factor in about 5 or so laps from that, so 65 plus 70. Anything around here to 135, you should see them.
Only a matter of who's going to be the first to blink this time.
Not seeing Dalton Scott close up as much as I thought he would, because with the fresher tires, you would think he would be making hay on the leaders. Well, before we go to pit stops, let us hop on the drone cam again. So there we have Tom Cording with the Phoenix Fallout Boy paint scheme, rising from the ashes, try to get to the top. Dalton Scott, as we've seen already tonight, in the Katy Perry number 15. Third Eye Blind, matching the car number on the side with the 3EB. 50 Cent on the 03. Hotel California with the Eagles on Monty Shangle's 38 machine. And here we have Bellafon with the Guns N' Roses number 42. Astro Atlas with the Fentanyl number 76. She had to make it through the qualifiers last night, and here she is running top 10 in the MusicFest Grand Prix. God is Good with Caleb Gordon on the Jimmy Logano number 28. Uncle Cracker, the number 19 of Luis Rodriguez. And Liz Shangle with the number 67 Tesla ride out here tonight. Adam Levine, obviously that of Maroon 5. Mitchie M, Braden Vargas scheme. He's making up some spots. He was back outside the top 20. Now he's in the top 15. And pit stops starting to happen. Tom Cording on pit road. Tristan Reams, Al Bunch on pit road.
And off of pit road.
I picked the most inopportune times to go with the drone cam out there. He's going to rejoin the race line in a very sketchy spot. No! Whoa!
Oh,
no!
That's gonna have huge implications on the race here.
Dude, and Bradley Ream was involved in it too, another title
And
contender.
he's pulling back down into traffic. Oh boy. Al Bunch is destroyed. This is gonna have huge championship implications.
Reese Landry, your leader right now. Holy crap, guys. Dalton Scott's going to jump to the lead of the point standings here tonight. Unless Brian DeBlank shows up here as well. Brian DeBlank could show up in this race.
Yeah, he's been quiet today so far, but he's not one to not surprise us and come out of nowhere.
We didn't even jinx him or anything. I honestly feel sincerely bad for Al Bunch's luck here tonight. That's got to be the wildest bad luck I've seen. Because he finds himself in situations like this where he's winning and leading and dominating. And then all of a sudden, the weirdest, wildest wrecks that we've ever seen in Sigma history keep finding the 81 team in the weirdest, wildest ways. Here he is making...
Well, they say sometimes you have either all the luck or no luck at all, and unfortunately for Al Bunch, he had some of the worst case of that.
Yeah, we'll see. He's on his, just a standard pit stop here. Fast forward a little bit. And I could tell there was something off with the exit of this pit stop, because you can see it's like, I don't know where he thinks he's going. He thinks that the track is clear ahead of him. The 01 was coming to pits. So that's what happened. The 01 had to make his pit stop, and the 81 was trying to rejoin the racetrack. Wow. Yeah, no, man, that's a kind of a bad call. It's a rookie mistake on the 01, actually. Sigma officials might scrutinize that one a little bit. When you've got a non-points contender coming down on a points leader such as that, it's a way...
Yeah, I mean, he just turns left. He was way too late to make a commitment to pit lane there.
Out of the race here tonight, credited with 41st place. And he might lose that even. He might fall to 42nd. Your points lead, erased. The 78, Bradley Ream, that's a tough break. That might sink his title hunts as well. Oh no, the 17 of Wyatt Wilkinson also retired now. What happened to Wilkinson? He had a decent run. Must have been... must have come in after the Al Bunch wreck here. Is this a case of ARCA brakes? Yeah, it's a case of ARCA brakes. Your ARCA champion from 2024 with an ARCA brakes moment running into the back of the field, slowed up for the caution. Bummer. Well, we had a very, very calm, calculated race up to this point now. Everything's kind of gone AWOL. Another instance. Oh yeah, more pit stop shenanigans. These rookies are making some very off-color mistakes.
Well, it's at least a good thing that the field was paying attention, because that could have been ugly.
Well, dude, how did we get wreck avoidance in that one that one wreck earlier, and now it's like wreck central wherever you look?
Right?
Okay, so Dalton Scott, Belafon, your top two, followed by Jimmy Logano and Cassie Perkins, Reese Landry, Liz Shangle, Adam Levine. We're already going to see a new winner here in the MusicFest Grand Prix. The 29 is 2 laps down, and Al Bunch is out for the count. Dalton Scott snoozing on the restart there. Belafon jumps to the lead. Well, Dalton Scott jumps back to the lead. That didn't take long. Wiggles' car coming down pit road, it looks like. So we're going to have to give wave rounds.
Right, looking to get into the top 5 here.
Wow. The 90, yeah, showing up here, approaching the halfway mark here in tonight's race. Yeah, I think the 07 unfortunately got trapped a lap down during pit stops kind of trapped a large chunk of drivers a lap down here. Actually, what we'll do, since we didn't have time to give them the wave round, I was too jarred by the I just got to make sure I do not mess this up because I could put someone on a lap all of their own. This would have been the wave rounds I was to give everyone had I caught it in time. Yeah, Tasha all the way up into 4th right there. Some new names rising to the top as you've got Dalton Scott still leading. Jimmy Logano up to 2nd. Adam Levine in 3rd. Tasha Wright 4th. Cassie Perkins 5th. Liz Shangle running in 6th. Belafon, Astro Atlas. Chase Kovacic in the top 10. Even after sideswiping Al Bunch from pit exit there. Monty Shangle in 10th. Osiel Escobar running up to 11th now. Luis Rodriguez in 12th. Here we have Brian DeBlank. Mired a little bit deeper in the field. Let's start waving around some more. Did you ever know about this feature, James? I had just learned about
I did
this.
not.
Like,
I did not. I'm blown away by what you're doing right now. Cause like I did not know you could do that and rebalance the laps like that.
I think it was Sebastian Galloway Jr. that told me you could do this, and I was like, what?
I almost wonder, and it's worth testing later, not now. If you could pause and do it, you know what I mean?
Probably not, because whenever I pause it and try to...
I guess, yeah, it stops you from putting commands in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this championship is blown wide open. I think you said that very statement earlier tonight, if Al Bunch got in a wreck, that the championship...
Well, and I said that when it happened. Like, that's huge. Him finishing... Where is he finishing tonight?
42nd.
Oh, boy.
So
basically barely in the normal points.
Yep, standard finish for dead last every other race of the year. This ain't no walk in the park for Dalton either. I mean, he's going to have to watch his P's and Q's here and not make a mistake. See, to me, this is what circle track racing does better than the road courses. The last race at the road course wasn't bad for the MusicFest Grand Prix, but it was pretty much follow the leader, you know, strategy. We do see that strategy here tonight, just like a road course, which is wild. But you see more mistakes. You'll often see a mistake made on an oval more times than you do at a road course, which is kind of weird to say, because if you think about road courses, there's lefts and rights and way more, you know, opportunities to make a mistake. But tonight, of all things, there's more mistakes being made on the oval, and I think that kind of there is some truth to that.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. There is some truth to that, because like you said, we're experiencing it here tonight. It's a lot of kind of follow the leader a little bit, but like not too much.
Well, and I think the lack of cautions is forcing these drivers to maybe get some brain fog. You know, where on a road course you make 100 laps. Tonight you have to make 301 laps around the same circuit. So your brain starts to kind of get tunnel vision, and those mistakes happen that way. We do have a new fastest lap in the race. Tasha jumps to the top of the fast time leaderboard. She's coming alive at the right time as we're just past halfway. And let me do a quick pause for recording sake. I almost want to say a brief pause for station identification, like you're on a radio channel. But that way, the Al Bunch wreck will live on in infamy here in part 1 recording. Wow. No, I mean, that was unexpected here tonight.
Yeah, that's going to have huge implications on this championship, especially if one of the people that are in the top 6 win this thing.
Well, dude, you're going to be rolling into Talladega next week, and even not even a must-win is going to get you out of the big hole that's being built here tonight. Quadruple points, 4-time, and honestly, to be quite honest, even if it was double points here tonight, it's still not looking pretty. You're losing a lot of points no matter what the scenario at hand is. A lot has culminated to the MusicFest Grand Prix this year. Well, that was the excitement that I wanted. I wanted at least an ounce of excitement for the big show. We didn't get much last night, but it was still great racing, and we're still getting the great racing here tonight, too.
Well, and I feel like it makes it a lot more exciting as well that we're definitely going to get another new winner here in 2025 and as well for Music City Grand Prix.
Here's what's wild, too. I mean, Dalton Scott has to qualify every week. When they go to Talladega, he's going to have to go through the sprint qualifier. Dalton Scott could get in a wreck during the sprint qualifier next week and miss the show in Talladega. So there's so many things that no one's really, that we have not, and I mark my words because this is very statistically factual, we have not had a battle this close in nearly 5 years.
I can believe it. Like, I know Al Bunch has been dominant the last couple here in the Cup Series, and I know between Tim and Chaz, like, in the Truck Series, so.
Well, and I'm just looking at Cup in general. So the thing is, when we did the double points, the change to the double points, it's made it harder for the championship to actually go down to the finale. And, I mean, for obvious reasons, when you have double points on the line, that means you're either beating everyone by twice as much or losing to everyone else by twice as much. And since 2020, the championship has been tied up earlier and earlier each year. I want to say it was 2021, Jimmy Johnson won it a year. He won it a race early. And then it was 2022, Will Power tied it up 4 races early. Move into 2023, and you had a off chance that you and What Army could win the championship over Atlee Weiss. So we had 2 drivers left fighting, but basically Atlee Weiss had to fail to finish the race and finish 35th or worst, and you and What Army would have had to win in 2023. Well, it just so happened that Atlee Weiss won that race to win the championship. Move into 2024, the year that most people probably wishes they could forget. Al Bunch goes on a tear, wins 15 races, ties up the championship about 6 races early. And so here we are in 2025, and the race, you know, there's 2 races left. The championship is not tied up. There is no tying it up here tonight. There might not be a chance of tying it up at Talladega either. But it's been about 4 years since we've had a good championship battle at the end of the season. And it's, you know, the playoff system like NASCAR does, it's artificial. It's not a true playoff. I mean, it is playoff. It is playoffs. That's what they're doing. But all the drama that they manufacture is very artificial, very fabricated. This, for a fact, here is not fabricated by any means. We have, unfortunately, had some bad luck befall one of our competitors. And we might be looking down the barrel of Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, that year in 2021, I think, or 2022, where it went down to the very last lap of the championship to get Max Verstappen his first. Might be looking at that in the Sigma Cup Series. Tasha trying to make a move for 4th there. Tasha's been a little bit under the weather, so it sounds like the team was able to get her some heated blankets put in the car. That is totally legal in the series, so She's got the extension of warm blankets keeping her rolling here tonight. And it doesn't seem to be slowing her down at all. And quite contrary to that, she is flying out there tonight.
Hey, I mean, you got Michael Jordan with the flu games, you know. Denny Hamlin with some flu races. I mean, we could see that type of thing with Tasha tonight.
I mean, even Noah Gragson, the unspeakable things that had happened to him whenever he was winning a race.
Yeah, poor guy. I've heard of having a lot of like weird, nervous things happening when you're excited, but like, that's got to be one of the like worst.
Yeah. Well, let me try to go through the field and give us all a quick view of every car, because I have not been able to do that yet, and we've had a lot of them drop out. So Tasha featuring the Real X-Man Macho paint scheme. She hadn't crafted it herself, and it's, you know, very, very colorful. Wouldn't that be cool if she had a car that she painted go to victory lane here tonight? Might see it. Still 128 laps to go. She's got the fastest car right now. Well, Osiel's back into the top 10, running in 9th. So this one right here is a really neat tribute, kind of paying homage to the ZZ Top Hot Rod, but also paying tribute to the late great Dusty Hill on the side there. This has become a staple for Brian DeBlank when it comes to this MusicFest Grand Prix, that he wouldn't hop in any other ride than the ZZ Top one when it comes to this race each year. It's really neat to see that car out there turning laps. Nirvana on Chase Kovacic's number 01 there. That's a scheme that was painted by Chaz Chadwick. Good side-by-side racing, it looks like here. Reese Landry sticking his nose in there, making a move alongside Chase Kovacic. And here comes Tom Cording as well, making the move alongside the 01. Kind of gives us a new perspective when you see the drone cam like this. It's kind of cool. Kellen Relic driving the number 87 Mac Miller entry, paying tribute to the late great Mac Miller, hip-hop artist. Fireball Robert, James Fireball Robert to be more specific, your 2025 Sigma All-Star winner. He has 2 wins on the season, one of which came in a controversial, he coasted through his pit stall to cross the start-finish line with the lead as he was running out of gas. The Sigma officials docked him 25 points, but did not take away the race win, as if he would have stayed out on the racing surface, he should have been able to coast to the start-finish line. But because they decided to take a shortcut and cut across pit road at Daytona, it was deemed an illegal move, and they were docked 25 points for it. You got the Fallout Boy car again there, number 64. The Hatsune Miku, number 39 of Lynn Farrell. Number 39 is synonymous with the phonetic, I guess, pronunciation of Miku. Drive-by truckers on the number 33 of Braden Hunt. Braden Hunt finished runner-up last year in the MusicFest Grand Prix. He's got his work cut out for him here tonight in that number 33 machine. There we have Chaz Chadwick with the Birthday Massacre That is the paint scheme that he cooked up himself. Chaz Chadwick, 24th on track at the moment. And his LFG Motorsports teammate Chris Harvey right behind him in 15th, featuring Shinedown. Ryan White mired deep in the field here after some of the strategies have kind of changed up the running order. The Stanfield's number 70 not having as great of a showing here tonight as he did last night. Jun Sanu, the guitarist for the band of the number 40 there, Crush 40. Tyler Aspinall with the Creed paint scheme. Nate Newman with Tool. Tyler Landa with Papa Roach. Kara Shangle with Rainbow Kitten Surprise. We'll just leave it on this one for a minute. Tristan Reams in the Charlie Crockett number 51. Taden Bergeron with some side damage there. He's been roughing it up with all his rowdy friends. Hank Williams Jr. Trevor Walker with the Glitch Mob at number 22. Andre Stefan with the Coldplay number 56. Guido Piano with Dream Theater on his number 23 machine. John Hagan with the Kid Leroy 88. And that gets us back to our leaders. Looks like we're down to 36 cars left running. 30, well, there's a couple folks lapped down. The 51, Tristan Reams 23, and the 29. But yeah, Al Bunch with a 42nd place finish here tonight. Well, Adam Levine has won in each season that he's contested so far. And with the odds ever against him here tonight, it would require, one win and one start would be a very, very tall order to fulfill. But it could possibly happen because he's right there up into third. Pit stops are going to start happening again here, probably around lap 200 to 210. Kind of seems like whenever you get out there with the lead, it's kind of hard to lose the lead. Two cautions tonight within the first 190 laps. Second caution was the caution heard around the world when your points leader Al Bunch got in a wreck here tonight. That's one of those stunning moments. Usually, if if you're a fan of the guy or not, no matter what, you're gonna be speechless after a wreck like that because no one saw that coming.
It looks like we're coming into the final 100 laps to go window here, so. And we are, I think we might be in a pit window again now, right now, the way we sit. But that caution might have shook things up a little bit, so we'll have to wait and see.
I think we're probably looking at about lap 200 to 210, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see where things start restructuring after the wreck that happened. It would have been because Al Bunch pitted about 140. Yeah, so 205 I think would be 205 will be the open window. But it's kind of hard. We've all kind of lost track of the pit strategies too, because some people might be doing something different. We know that that Dalton was trying to get off strategy, and it was about to work in his favor because he had about 15 laps fresher stuff, but unfortunately the caution came out and forced his hand. Tasha still with the fastest lap here so far. Hasn't swapped hands yet. She might be able to hold on to it for the remainder of this race. Here comes Adam Levine for second place. The two Chevys duking it out with each other. Wow, even Cassie Perkins getting around Jimmy Logano here. Logano must have used up his tires, dropping backwards. Lap traffic ahead of our leaders here. That's the 88 of John Hagan. Yeah, there's definitely been a lot to unpack here tonight. We had some first-time drivers up the front leading. We had your often, you know, your common suspects leading the way with Dalton Scott and Al Bunch. But now with these final 100 laps to go and pit stop strategies more than likely going to factor into the final result here tonight, it's hard to tell who's got the winning car right now. Dalton's doing all right, but I mean, if he makes the wrong pit call here, that could shake it up to where Adam Levine or even Cassie Perkins takes over top position. And then don't count out Tasha Wright, who's got the fastest car right now.
Let's not forget, Tasha is coming off of a win from last week.
Yeah,
So
momentum
we're gonna go back to back.
Yeah, momentum is huge, no matter what you do. You know, winning your first race kind of gets you that adrenaline rush to try and go out there and get the next one. And we might still have some more wrecks waiting in the wings somewhere too.
It's very true. Still got another 95 laps to go here, so.
Oh, here we go. Pit stops. Undercut for Dalton Scott. Undercut for Cassie Perkins. But Adam Levine's going to stretch it. Tasha undercut strategy here as well. Jimmy Logano is going to stretch it. So 65 laps is the true window here tonight. They're going to have to make at least one more pit stop past this one too. And they're not going to stretch it for 15 laps here to try and make it on one last stop. Here we go. Jimmy Logano shuffles around to the lead after the 5 of Adam Levine makes his pit stop. And we still have 38 cars running that could potentially cause some big pileups here tonight. This ain't like, you know, a Bristol race where half the field's knocked out past halfway. 38 cars. There's a lot of a lot of room for error. And here we are, maybe getting through a full pit cycle finally. It seems like it's taken forever for that to happen. Look who shuffles to the front of the field. Tasha Wright with a stellar pit stop. Under the weather, but still dialed in here tonight. That number 90 gets by Dalton Scott.
The only trouble here is we're still going to need another pit stop before we get to the end of this thing.
Yeah, so they're going to be looking at about 25 laps to go for the final round of pit stops. I don't know how. Adam Levine pitted with the lead, and he might just come back out with the lead here. And Jimmy Logano is the only other one that had stayed out as long, and he's now rejoining the race surface. He's going to fall back to third. Adam Levine, your leader here tonight in the MusicFest Grand Prix, leading over Tasha Wright. Well, here we go. In it for the long haul. Dalton Scott, he's bleeding some points here. He was trying to make max points on the night after the Al Bunch debacle. But here he is under attack by the 36 of Cassie Perkins. You know, Dalton, he might still find a way to make a mistake here tonight. It's very possible that it could come out in a wash. Oh, he's got some damage on the right side of his car. I wonder what happened. Let's see if we can pit stop pit road maybe. On the exit of pit road. I'm wondering if he got spun out on the exit of pit road maybe. Oh, wait, there's Tasha. Oh, wow, this is getting interesting. He beat Tasha out from pit road. Is there going to be a hook, James? Do you think there's going to be a hook here?
I got a feeling something interesting is going to happen. That's for sure.
Oh, exiting pit road.
Is it going to happen?
It was the Al Bunch.
Oh,
the Al Bunch. But Dalton was able to. Wow. Oh, he got.
Tasha just barely slips through that.
He got Al Bunched. Both of our leaders, it's been a.
But he survived. That's the difference.
Yeah, the big difference.
Unlike Al, he's going to survive to tell the tale.
Look how close this is for Tasha. Like you said, that could have been Tasha's night over. But instead,
that could have been both of their nights over right there.
I want to see the in-car on Tasha. That's got to be scary to watch.
Blink and you miss it.
Okay, tonight has been full of completely wild occurrences here tonight. I don't think the 15's going to be running as good as he once was.
No, I got a feeling that was a lot of damage.
He's already lost a spot to the 36. Lap times, he's running a 29.4. Osiel Escobar running a 29.2. So the 15 is going to be bleeding points here now. Al Bunch, with some luck, could still leave here tonight your points leader. If Dalton Scott falls back to 30th, Brian DeBlank still in the mix, though. That could factor in. Brian DeBlank could leave tonight with the points lead. So 85 laps, time will tell. But I don't think Dalton's going to hold on to a top 5 at the rate it's going. And I think I've had races here at Nashville before, and I've not had that pit road problem as bad as it is here tonight. So that is completely and totally, I think just the factor that we have 45 cars on field makes it that much harder for them to get to pit road. You know, most of the time when we have 42 cars, you'll have a big wreck that takes out about 10 of them, and pit road doesn't really factor in. So tonight with 45, that's what I'm chalking it up to. Well, and yeah, being the MusicFest Grand Prix, I think that equates to it too, that the drivers, it's like they're out there playing the Super Bowl, and you're on, you know, you're on the television, people are watching, and the pressure is immense. It feels like you're in a pressure cooker here tonight to try and perform while every eye is watching you from the stands. Definitely very, very, very hard to pull off a win here in the MusicFest Grand Prix. But at the end of the night, that's what makes it all the more worth it to bring home the trophy when you go through the trials and tribulation to make that big break here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never know when that break is going to come your way. Like,
you know, honestly, it's a shame that Tasha's so far out of the points, that the fact that she's kind of gotten on the right streak here at the end of the year, that she could almost be factored into the championship battle, but she had a rough midpoint through the season this year. As we're looking at the standings, let me pull them up here. She had a great start to the season, which ultimately locked her into a full-time ride here with the number 90. And after the win last week, she was able to climb up to 17th in the points. But the meat in the middle of the sandwich is what really spoiled the party for her this year. A lot of finishes outside the top 30. Very, very scattered with some good races here and there. She came home 7th at her home track in Michigan, but then went to follow that on with a 24th, an 18th, and a 20th. And pretty much her best races this year, it looks like, have come through a few road course races. 6th at Riverside, a 9th at Watkins Glen, a 5th at Portland. So she's really got the road course skill set here. Heck, she even finished 3rd at Lakeside Raceway. So, but yeah, getting that first win at Gateway just a week ago has given her newfound vigor in the fight for wins here in the Sigma Cup Series. Now, there's going to be one more pit stop. There's going to be at least a pit stop with 30 to go, I believe. Yeah, so the bad luck omen, if you're leading the race and come down pit road, seems to be where you get knocked out here tonight. So being the leader is not a good thing. I mean, this is probably the most Adam Levine race that I've seen since he started back in 2013 and won the Daytona 500 in his first race. This, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Sometimes you just put a name on the door, and that car performs like the name on that door has before. And I don't know if you've experienced it, James, but doesn't it seem like, depending on how you name the car or what driver you put in it, you can swap the names, and then the car doesn't do as good. And it's the exact same paint scheme, the exact same ratings, but as soon as you switch the driver name, sometimes that's all it needed.
Yeah, sometimes that's literally all it needs. It's like a switch, almost.
Yeah. Now, in a lot of other times, too, I've seen if you get a new paint scheme, that driver's more prone to winning. It's like the RNG chance is more in their favor if the paint scheme's a brand new paint scheme. But then you look tonight, MusicFest Grand Prix, pretty much every single car is a new paint scheme. So now you're really testing the odds of RNG, and the game's probably like freaking out. Well, Dalton has fallen back to 6th. Osiel Escobar gets by, and Dalton, his lap time's down to a 29.5. Liz Shangle behind him at a 29.7. I think the big loss here is going to be when he makes his last pit stop. The NR crew chief is more than likely going to hold him on pit road to try and make some repairs to that 15. and that's where he's going to lose the rest of his laps here tonight.
Well, and I think the frustrating thing there is sometimes they'll just decide to retire the car.
True.
That's a real thing that you got to worry about is sometimes they'll just decide to retire the car.
Well, and who knows if the damage may actually contribute to a mechanical failure here before the end of the race. He might blow up on the race course, too. Look at that. Tasha's closed the gap. It's Chevy on Chevy right now. We haven't seen very many swaps for the lead under competitive laps. Most of the swaps have come through pit stops here tonight. But Tasha may be looking to try and change the odds up a little bit. Yeah, tonight's been an instant classic, folks. If you've tuned in, you've been laying eye to one of the best races of the season, hands down. There's been some strategy calls. There's been been some wrecks, but all in all, there's been racing throughout the field. Great parity. The drivers are very, very fast, and the strength of field is impressive here tonight. Look at that. Tasha's right up on the back bumper of Adam Levine. So we were kind of testing the odds here. I think the last time I've had people in the booth, and I don't want to give the commentators jinx, but here we go. So every cup race this year where I've had a guest in the booth, the first one was James. I'm trying to remember who won that race, though. I think it was... You were in the booth with me for, I want to say...
I think it was Tom. I want to say it was Tom.
At Armory Digital, right? Or no, maybe not Armory.
I don't recall what race it was, but I believe it was Tom that won that one.
Okay.
So.
Well, and then the next race, it was... okay, no, it wasn't Cup. It was actually ARCA that we had... had some, and it was the Daytona race for ARCA, and I had Brian DeBlank in the booth, and his car won. And yeah, it was Tom in one of the other races. Might have been Bridge to Cup, I think. Maybe it was Daytona. But the last two times I've had a featured commentator in the booth with me, and I thought it was weird because it happened twice. Well, now we're pushing possibly have it happen 3 times. Whoops. My phone died. And the only reason that's pertinent information is because my phone was hosting a hotspot for my other laptop to use the internet. So I'm trying to not use internet on both my computers because that seemed to have been the problem, I felt like. Cross our fingers here, folks. Knock on wood that I get my phone back up and have the hotspot hosted again here shortly. Adam Levine starting to get away from Tasha here. I think using the draft of the lap traffic kind of helped him stretch it out here. Oh, wow, look at that. Tasha closing right on back up, though. Lap traffic, this is going to really start to weigh heavy on our leaders here now. Cassie Perkins running in third. Osiel Escobar moves up to fourth, getting around Jimmy Logano. So yeah, no one is going to be able to make it to the finish. Everyone's going to have to pit at least one more time to the conclusion of this one. We might keep an eye on this battle. There is passing going on right now, which we haven't seen a whole lot of, but it looks like this 07 is making passes. We hopped right in time to catch the 07 make the move on the 36 here, side by side, taking the position. Also dropping further back, it's Dalton Scott losing a spot to Liz Shangle. So move up to third for Osiel Escobar. Drop back to sixth for Dalton Scott. Actually seventh, my bad. Back another spot to seventh. Dalton's worst nightmare here tonight would be seeing another caution, because he's only able to hold on to a top 10 for now because of the separation from the pit, green flag pit stops and all that have kind of stretched things out. But if things get bunched back up, he ain't going to have much speed to stay up front, and he'll probably drop outside the top 25. Brian DeBlank making some moves. He's up to 10th now. James Fireball Robert in 11th. Braden Varga. The whole Cording Brothers Motorsports camp is moving to the front. All four of them in the top 14 as Tom Cording rounds out the team there for 14th. Ryan White in 15th.
I think we need to highlight that performance just a little bit. I mean, that's amazing. Starting 46th on the field and managing to make it all the way up to 15th.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for the KBM. But now you got Tasha running in second, hunting down the win, and the others, they're right there following right in line behind her. I do think that this win is going to come down to the pit stops here tonight, and whether or not we put it to the undercut or the overcut here, Tasha's going to have to make. Well, maybe it's not Tasha's call altogether. It might be the crew chief up on the pit box for the number 90 that has to make this call and calculate it perfectly. Some of the other drivers may be hoping for a caution to help kind of settle things back down a little bit here. Adam Levine's lap times have dropped to a 29.9. Tasha just turned a 29.8. Oh, Jimmy Logano gets around Osiel Escobar. The lap traffic holding him up a little bit. Tasha still running about a 10th faster than Adam Levine. And see, here's the thing. Right now is the window. If they wanted to, anyone could pit right now and make it to the finish and still have some extra laps for a green-white checkered. Here we go. Oh, wait. I looked away from the computer and I saw her passing a car, but it was a lap down car, the 29 of Louis Trost. Yeah, at the end of the day, this right here would be a win that does absolutely nothing for everyone involved. Because Adam Levine, he has not started any other race this year. This is the only race that he had on his calendar here in the Sigma Cup Series. And so he's going to bump up on the radar like 60th in the points because all he had to do is show up and run one race. And of like 68 people, he'll be probably 60th in the points. It's a lot like when a Cup regular goes down to race the Truck Series and you've got playoffs on the line or something. It's like that does nothing because yeah, they're not competing for that championship.
Well, and I guess like I think that's what makes it so interesting the way that works is because Cup guys can't go down during the playoff season, but Xfinity and Truck guys can come up.
Yeah.
Like I think that's so like I think it's a great way of doing it because it makes sense.
And it gets them some track time and some experience and yeah. Well, Dalton Scott makes his pit stop. Looks like they got that right side fixed even. But now in the danger zone, he's a lap down in 37th. 2 laps down. Oh, they held him on pit road to make the repairs. So that makes it a wash for him and Al Bunch. If he finishes where he's running right now, which he might not because everyone else is going to have to pit, it's going to be interesting and see. He might get back up into the top 15. I would, best case scenario, could get back up into the top 15. But right now, your points leader swaps hands to another guy in our series who's been through it all. Brian DeBlank, of all the people with the tough luck breaks, he's one of the guys that's had more tough luck breaks than most. And even tonight, it's not, a stellar, flashy performance, but a top 10 run. And he's doing exactly what he must to keep the championship conversation alive. Brian Varga is going to be able to maximize points here tonight as well. And
looks like Brian DeBlank is trying to do the same too.
I misspoke on Varga's name, not Brian. It's Braden. Braden Varga.
I think you mixed up the two because they are both fighting for the same piece of real estate and the same situation. If one of them comes out of here with a win, then they are going to be in a great spot in these final few races.
So yeah, in the points, Brian DeBlank is 52 points back. Braden Varga is 274. But you might as well, racing Dalton Scott and Al Bunch, who are a long ways ahead. Unfortunately, Bradley Ream's championship hopes kind of come crumbling down here tonight. He was involved in that wreck with Al Bunch that took both of them out. So Bradley Ream's 335-point gap is going to stay consistent to Al Bunch because they both finished in the same area, the running order. This, we can't count Braden Varga out. Talladega could really mix things up with the likes of Brian DeBlank or even Dalton Scott, who's still very much in the mix for that title. Cassie Perkins gets back around Osiel Escobar. Escobar trying to defend against Jimmy Logano there. Tasha losing some ground to Adam Levine. Looks like she might need a caution to help get things sorted back out here. Dalton Scott about to drive back around to get one of his laps back. But Adam Levine has got some dense traffic ahead of him. Dalton Scott looking on the inside of Adam Levine. That might help Tosh out a little bit. Yeah, Tasha's almost a half second off the pace all of a sudden, so wondering if maybe she needs to start thinking about pitting sooner than later. Get some fresh tires on the number 90.
Well, and she could be thinking about the undercut. I mean, we're in the window basically for pitting and making it to the end here.
This is at the point in a race where I almost feel like we need that caution to keep us on our toes, because it could be anyone's race if the caution fell here. And I mean, it could still be anyone's race if it stays green too, with pit strategies varying between drivers. But Adam Levine better be careful coming through lap traffic here and not make a mistake. Yeah, Dalton's got the fresh 4 Goodyear tires, so he's running out there like Superman. Pit stop starting, and it's Tasha staying out. Okay, a different purple car. Oh no, Tasha is pitting. Tasha with the undercut.
Yeah.
Adam Levine staying out.
It could pay off depending on how quickly she gets off pit lane here.
Was she speeding on pit road? What was that even?
I noticed it earlier. Adam Levine, I think, did it as well.
Whoa.
So,
as long as it's not illegal, holy cow.
Yeah, well, Adam Levine did it earlier. Like, I don't know what
they found the John Hagen approach to that one. We'll see. I know you know, there's timing spots out there that sometimes the race car drivers will exploit and figure out where they can cut the corners. Adam Levine pits. There's some dust. No yellow, but there is some dust flying in the air there. Ooh, this looks dangerous. Okay, the 45 stays out. Good. It still looks dangerous. Well, what did I say? Dalton Scott was going to utilize staying out here and try to gain as many spots back. He's up to 25th, one lap down. And he might get shuffled around to the lead lap in 25th. So Brian DeBlank, however, is running in front of Dalton. And there's only 2 points separating Brian DeBlank and Dalton Scott. So as long as Brian DeBlank finishes... Now, Dalton Scott's led most laps here tonight and lead lap bonus points. So Brian DeBlank's going to have to pick up some spots here if he wants to leave with the championship lead. Let us hop back to the front because I think everyone has shuffled around in the pit strategy. Who is our leader right now? Up to third, it's Osiel Escobar. Still Adam Levine leading, but not by much. Tasha right there on his bumper. She's sticking it inside, side by side. You can see the front of the field. You can smell the clean air. Tasha's going to have a shot here on Adam Levine. Adam closes the door. 27 laps to go. We still desperately need a caution, I feel like, to give some of these other drivers a shot to get back into the mix. But lurking in the background like a shark, I see Osiel Escobar starting to close the gap too. It's taken all night for us to actually see a pass for the lead. I don't think we've seen very many swaps at the lead yet tonight. So,
well, we got what? We're inside. Are we inside 30 to go here now?
Yeah, 25 laps to go.
It's just getting heated up in here too. We can see this lap traffic really make a difference.
Lap times I really want to see here. Escobar turning some of the fastest laps in the race right now, matching his fastest lap from earlier to 29.27 with another 29.27. Turns a 29.306. Compare that up to Adam Levine, who turned a 29.35. So right now the fastest car on track is your third place driver, Osiel Escobar. Which maybe the lap traffic kind of helping a little bit, holding up Adam Levine, holding up Tasha. And where did Escobar go? What happened? What happened? Where what in the world? Unscheduled pit stop. Engine failure. No, mechanical failure. The car was flying. The car was absolutely on rails. Blew it up. No.
Oh,
dude.
You hate to see that type of thing happen.
Oh,
especially in the closing laps here.
That's painful. That is the hardest. That's the hardest pill to swallow right there. No way. No way, no way, no way. It's all been clutch issues tonight, too. All the drivers that have blown up, it's not like a big grenade blowing up the engine and spreading oil everywhere. It's usually a pretty mild, mechanical failure that keeps the track clean here tonight. Damn, Tasha's losing ground to Adam Levine. Things kind of just got all turned upside down on last 5 laps of this race. What could have been? Osiel Escobar was flying out there. I think had the best car, but maybe had the setup dialed a little too hot, forcing the car to retire with a mechanical failure. Piston. Oofty. Yeah, no, they were... And it says Al Bunch was credited with a piston, but he had contact with another car, so the piston was a direct connection to being wrecked into the wall rather than a mechanical failure. I am going to go ahead and turn on green-white checkers just in case. Man, I feel for him. I feel for Osiel Escobar. The best race in their career. It's going to go down as one of the best races they've ever had here in the Sigma Series, and just coming up short by about 25 laps too short. It's kind of been the name of the game this week is mechanical failures. It's been very prominent between qualifying and the alphabet soup. Last night we've seen probably about at least 10 mechanical failures this week. Well, we're down to 15 laps to go. And the lap traffic still very dense here in front of Adam Levine. And it's not, not done and over with yet. Adam Levine's still going to have to cross his T's, dot his I's, make sure not to make any mistake here with the lap traffic. We know how terrible lap traffic can be for these leaders. Another big subject here tonight, you've got the 85 of Brian DeBlank, who's made some moves up since the pit stops, up to 18th. And versus Dalton Scott, who has fallen back to 23rd, or is kind of relegated back to 23rd. Brian DeBlank should walk away here tonight with your points lead. Braden Varga, he's going to be able to gain a lot of points with a top 10 finish here tonight, and he's going to tighten that ever-growing bubble back in his favor to get back in the title hunt as well. Astro Atlas, this is her first career Sigma Cup start. She's having a great showing in 7th. Luis Rodriguez running in 6th. Jimmy Logano with a 5th. Liz Shangle on the return after injury. Top 5 run for her. Cassie Perkins in her first ever career Sigma Cup start. The Third Eye Blind, number 36. But all eyes are on Adam Levine right now, as he's going to have to work his way through the dense lap traffic to finish this one out. 11 laps remain. Tasha could, with some very calculated moves here, make this her win tonight. Adam Levine getting slowed up by the 51. The 56 getting back around Adam Levine. And Adam gets settled in right in front of the 56 there. Adam not having a good method of working through the traffic here. It seems like he's kind of getting holed up.
Well, and that could be a bit of a, you don't run with us every week. You don't really know where you want us to go.
Right. Yeah, and it's, an etiquette that maybe he hasn't really trained on in half a decade roughly. Well, actually, Yeah, no, it's been about half a decade since the last race that he ran. Tasha needs to jump down there on the low line and follow them through the traffic here. John Hagan, a rolling roadblock in the number 88. His car much slower than the other lap traffic around him. Adam Levine takes the high road, which may not be the best move to make. Now he's stuck behind 2 cars. He's going to try to pass John Hagan on the outside. That's going to open the door for the 56. Interesting moves being made here. I don't know how it's working out for Adam Levine. Oh, Adam's pulling off. There's a wreck. 8 laps to go. 8 laps to go. Don't get into each other here, folks. Just slow down. Wow. The racing gods have intervened. We've got a late race caution after a terrible pileup.
And
ugly wreck.
yeah, what happened here? Oh no, I see James Fireball Roberts at the front of this.
There's Braden Varga ahead. Ooh, it looks like maybe he had maybe a mechanical failure. The car slowed way up here. Jacob Shangle drops. Ooh.
Oh, Tom gets him just on the edge there.
Ooh.
Owner on teammate violence.
Chaz Chadwick still not able to make it through one of these races this year. Oh, whoa. Dalton Scott makes it through. No, he doesn't. He gets into it a little bit too. Wow. Well, now it's anyone's game at this point. Tasha may be sitting pretty. Or Adam Levine, you never know. Wow, that's a hard hit. Everyone kind of just lawn darted around there.
We're still racing, right? We should have a caution there.
No, everyone
Okay.
they're trying to get caught back up.
I was like, wait, what?
I'm going to try to wave around as many people that are in the way, too. So Liz Shangle retires too. I wonder if she got in a wreck outside of the wrecks that happened there. Holy crap. Dalton Scott, 15th, running 15th, but the car looks totally hammered. Let's see exactly what happened to Liz Shangle, who was running in the top 5 there.
You may want to click on the button real quick while we're
Oh
under
man.
caution here.
What button? The pause button or?
No, the green white checkers unless you have.
Oh, it's already
turned it on
enabled. I got it.
All right, I was gonna say I just looked at the window we were in, and I was like, if we get another caution, we're gonna be screwed if we don't have that turned on right now.
Yeah, so this was extra damage after the fact.
Just extra damage,
Oh, wow,
collateral
okay.
damage.
Okay, lights are off on the pace car. They will get doubled up on the backstretch. It's going to be Adam Levine, Tasha Wright, Cassie Perkins, Jimmy Logano. Man, in a shot to win it tonight. Astro Atlas in the top 5. Braden Hunt, 6th. Braden Vargas, 7th. Ryan White resurging here as well. Monty Shangle in the top 10. And Tom Cording Then you've got Brian DeBlank 11th. He's beaten Dalton Scott by 4 spots. That would be enough to maintain, well, to inherit the points lead tonight for the 85 team. So now we're going to try to end this under regulation. It's going to be a natural attempt at what really close to a green-white checkered here. That outside line has not been very successful tonight in converting to the lead, so we'll see how Tasha does. We're off and rolling. Tasha with a great start.
And Adam doesn't go. Yeah.
Adam
That's
got
just what Tasha needed there.
But the inside line is the advantage here. Are we going to be able to make it to the white flag without another wreck? Jimmy Logano on a rail as well. What the hell? That car is damaged, and it looks like he shot out of a cannon. Tasha trying to defend. Adam trying to attack. We're going to be 3 laps to go here. Tasha's got an edge on the number 5. Tasha to the front. Woo, 3 wide.
The question is, can she hold it?
The 33, Braden Hunt, out of nowhere. Is he going to be the Sheldon Creed of runner-up finishes?
Ryan White into the top 5 as well.
Whoa, holy cow.
Top 4.
Okay, so the cars with the least amount of damage are working their way to the front here, as the cars that have damage are dropping backwards. We have a couple laps left to go. Next time by, it'll be the white flag. Adam Levine has dominantly held the lead, and I think this is the first laps that Tasha has led here tonight.
I believe you're right. Outside of a few laps under pit stops, this is it.
We haven't seen drivers be able to defend and fight for the lead or swap at the lead, but Tasha here, she's in the catbird seat right now. White flag waving. Adam Levine's going to have only half a shot left here as they get around to the back side of the racetrack. Your top 5, as it looks like, rolling into turn 3. It's going to be Tasha, Adam, Braden, Ryan
After
White.
300 laps, and the soup. Tasha's going to go back to back and take the Music City Grand Prix.
Back-to-back race wins for Tasha Wright. That's impressive. That's showing some muscle.
That is gonna propel her in the points with the double points.
Dude, she might get up into the top 10 by the end of the season, which is still very impressive for your rookie year. I am excited to scour.
I can tell you for a fact that I know with the deal that was made at the earlier in the season, I know it's been really bugging her all year that the results haven't really gone in her way. So to be able to jump back up into that top 10 in points is spectacular for her.
Results are saved. We can't lose them now, even if the game wanted to crap out on me. That was worth all. I mean, Tasha did it back-to-back weeks, the same style. There was a late race caution at Gateway, and that late race caution reset the running order, and Tasha had a chance, and she was just hanging there in the wings waiting to take it. Well, history repeats itself in back-to-back race weeks, and here we are with Tasha doing the same thing that she did to get her first career win, pulling it out to get her second career win here tonight. And we had the team owner, or at least a comrade to the team owner in the booth. You're associated with team. You are the team owner.
Yeah,
you are.
I mean, oh my God, like I said, I'm super excited for her. I know it's been really bothering her that she's kind of taken a nosedive down in the standings. So double points and maybe jumping to the top, closer to the top 10. Yeah.
This one is going to be worth a screenshot, and I'm sure everyone else that's watching you'll get to see it here. I saved everything, right? I'm very I'm always very cognitive of making sure I saved everything. I
I
tripled,
know you
doubled,
export. I
quadrupled.
know you exported it.
Yep, there we go. Okay. Otherwise, it's saved for history on YouTube.
Got it.
So,
Got it officially in the books on all accounts.
dude, Braden Varga made it up to 6th.
That might help him.
Brian
Yeah.
DeBlank held on to an 8th, and Dalton Scott with the damage fell all the way to 23rd. So Brian DeBlank leaves Nashville as the points leader.
That beautiful macho paint scheme.
She adds her name to the analog, the annals of the MusicFest Grand Prix history now, adding her name amongst the likes of Louis Trost and Al Bunch as race winners in this huge event. And that caps it off, folks. That was amazing. That was awesome. And everyone that tuned in were treated to a spectacular show here tonight. I don't know how else we could have done any better. I mean, the game actually, it wrote itself for us. So we just we were along for the ride.
Yeah, wow. I can't, I know, wow. NR really works out sometimes. This is really one of those moments where NR shines, because that was a race. I feel like that was genuinely something we might have seen in real life. You know what I mean?
Well, it left you speechless, didn't it?
Yeah, it leaves you speechless, because the way it just all unfolded. I mean, for all we know, with Ryan White was coming on quick at the end there.
Dude, if there was 15,
I think, yeah.
If there was more laps or even a green-white checkered, yeah, he would have been right there to win it.
But man, that run from the soup to from the second to last first race of the soup to making it to the main to finishing 4th, I think.
Yeah, top 5.
That's insane. That's insane. That's an insane turnaround. I feel like this was just an insane way to cap off our week here for the MusicFest Grand Prix.
I'm going to get the points scored tonight, and everyone on the server, you're going to be looking for it. It's going to be up there before, well, it's midnight on the East Coast, so it's going to be up there anytime after the next half an hour to an hour. So I don't know how else to close it out here tonight, folks. That kind of wrote itself, like I said, and put on a spectacular finish. Dude, I was hoping desperately for a caution, almost to the point where I was like, okay, do we need a debris caution? And I was like, James was the conscience on my shoulder saying, nah, let's not do that. And I'm like,
I said let this play out. It's been a good race. When Adam Levine was leading, he came from the B, so that's someone coming from the soup to win. That's great too. But that last second caution to give us a natural green-white checkered at that.
That was a nasty wreck. I mean, that took out
that took out a few cars.
Almost the other half of the field with 5 laps to go. You don't usually see a wreck with 5 laps to go take out that many cars. No, so
no, I think this is one of those rare moments where you can simply just say it's us, and then we sign off, because wow.
Nope, that's why you don't manipulate it. You let the race play out organically, because sometimes it's where it draws the true emotion. It gets the excitement. I mean, everything at the end there was authentic. We were excited. We were surprised. I think everyone else watching from home was surprised as well when that last caution came out. That's why we have...
Yeah, I had to contain myself a little bit myself, because I saw that there was a couple. There was some smoke on the front stretch, and with the Adam, it looked like Adam Levine was making a last minute like call to make it into the pits for something, and wow, it all just turned on its head completely because like as we both know with NR, the way NR is silly, if he jukes left and misses that and runs through there, the game's gonna throw him to the back. Like, and it's just gonna completely turn everything else 180 even more.
Right. Nope. That is, I think, just crown jewel racing in the Sigma series. Um, Whenever we have the crown jewel moniker on a race, shit just gets weird. We've seen it every race when it's a crown jewel event. Something bizarre has to happen, and this one, yep, Nashville might stay on the radar for a while. I don't know. We're gonna keep swapping the MusicFest Grand Prix around to a different locale every year, but Nashville already jumped to the top as one of the marquee, the top ones for the MusicFest Grand Prix history. So, thanks again, everyone. Ultimately, thanks to having everyone tune in. Thanks to James alongside me for the call here. And we only have 2 races left in the season, and then it's on to the silly season. So, man, yeah. Have a wonderful weekend, folks. Go watch the Martinsville race this week and root for your favorite drivers if there are any left to make the Final Four. You have any last statements on your end, James?
Be kind, race hard, and Chili's baby back ribs.
baby back ribs. Yeah. I thank you, everyone. Have a great night and stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next one. This is Jakester signing out.
Peace.